Welcome to episode 168 of the Beefy Boys Breakdown. We're going to be recapping UFC St. Louis versus the taxi cab driver. I mean, Nascimento. And,
Is that what it means in
and
Brazilian? Taxi cab driver?
Derek Lewis was killing me with that shit. He's like, I just found out who this guy was.
Derek Lewis was
Man, I mean,
awesome last night. He was prime time, classic form Derek Lewis. And I love how I guess in the lead-in interviews to every fight, he says, I'm in my prime. That's just like cliche for him to say in every fucking fight he goes into. But Bisping actually called him on it last night. It was great. It was awesome.
never felt better. Never felt better.
Felt terrible to watch my man taxi cab driver lose when I had bets all over him, but
Yeah,
yeah.
we were pretty much fading Derek Lewis. I mean, this episode's going to be a lot of us crying in our beer. One of our worst pick days. Not a great day at the sports book. Apologies to those who followed along our beefy bets, but I mean, I think I wasn't the only one. I was seeing a lot of people on X like, oh yeah, yikes! Like, I don't think a lot of people. I think
Well,
Vegas did very well this weekend. I'll put it that way.
I said that same exact thing to Kenneth. He was watching with me, and I was like, dude, Vegas fucking robbed people this weekend. Like, they fucking robbed people. And that was as soon as we got to and we'll get to it in the breakdown, but Rombeshki to Spain, like, there's plenty of them.
Yeah, bro.
This is pretty
I
much
think Vegas
this
did
is
very well.
this is pretty much throw a break on every hype train you thought you had.
Yeah. I made a tweet from our X account at Beefy Breakdown if you want to go give us a follow. But I did a tweet. It was like Night of the Living. What I say? Night of the Living fraud checks. Like,
Yeah.
it was just fraud check season. Every single hype train derailed, fraud check, whatever you want to call it, bro. Like, like that's on me, I
It
guess.
was so tough. It was so tough.
Uh, So we'll dive into this main event here, man. We got taxi cab driver versus Derek Lewis, and we were riding the taxi hard, man. We were getting hammered and calling a taxi for a ride home. Yeah, we had Nascimento and parlays. I think Harrison. Did you have a Nascimento straight or not?
Yeah, I did. I had Nascimento straight, exactly right. He was plus 140, Derek Lewis minus 165. Like, I thought I was getting great value on Nascimento there.
Yeah, the 5 rounds, which Derek Lewis spent all week talking about, he was salty. He had to fight 5 rounds, and you know, Nascimento for a heavyweight has decent cardio, has kind of a different grappling heavy approach for the heavyweight division. We just saw Derek Lewis get held on his back by a Brazilian grappler. It's like, you know, we thought we had it all figured out. We thought we had it all figured out. But, I mean, and it was funny. I saw a meme today. It was like, isn't it funny how Derek Lewis just had like 2 rounds of grappling practice? And then his coach was like, all right, stop dicking around.
Bro,
Let's get a knockout here. And then he just does.
yeah, his coaches were hilarious. They're like, after the first round, they're like, quit fucking grappling with him. Just go lay your hands on this motherfucker. Just throw combos. Lewis starts doing that. I thought he took so quick breakdown summation. Lost the first round because he was doing all the wrestling shit. Second round, he lets the hands go more. I thought he won the round. And then his coaches are still like, hey, just knock him out. Like, what the fuck? And he's like, all right.
Am I correct? I actually gave Derek Lewis round one. I thought it was very close round. Like, I
Very
thought it was
close.
very, very close.
Very
Yeah,
close.
yeah.
Very close. I mean, his ground and pound from the top at the very end.
And he got the reversal at the end of round one as well.
Right, that's what I mean. Like, to get the very end reversal and get some ground and pound right there was kind of nice.
I value reversals because it's like if your only claim to winning the round is a takedown and control, but you get reversed, it kind of like null and void, right? Like, I don't know, in my mind, like that's.
I thought Nascimento was pretty active on top, though, when he was on there. I mean, it was 2 minutes of control, and he was pretty active.
Oh, let this be flyweight woman, and this fucking Sean Strickland over here on the other side of the screen would have been complaining about it.
I fully agree with that take because this is heavyweights, so when they're landing little pocket jabs, that shit hurts. Flyweight women, I'm sorry, it's not going to put you out.
Fair play. But
Especially
yeah, bro,
when it's Lewis and Nascimento, both guys with a lot of power.
Lewis, knockout king, has it tatted on his chest, which is so dope, by the way.
Yeah.
And then to actually have the record and actually have the tat, like you're not some regional clown that has a knockout king tat on your chest.
You're
like
actually the
He's
UFC's knockout king. Yeah, like that's actually so fire.
That's really dope. But yeah, third round TKO, 49 seconds into round 3. Literally, his coach was like, "What are we doing here? Go knock this guy out." And he's like, "All right, bet." Like,
Essentially, his coach was like, "Hey, quit worrying about the takedown. Just fucking swing." And he's like, "Shit, if you say so."
Yeah. Now, this was real interesting as far as the power rankings goes. Now,
Yeah, it
because
fucks
and
me.
I had to do like a philosophical question here of like because obviously Tuivasa has the knockout over Lewis, right? But then went on a 4-fight skid since then. So I was like, do I jump Derek Lewis over Tai Tuivasa? And I said yes. That may sound
I do
crazy
too. I do
considering.
too. For the way
Okay,
that they're
I,
aging, like the direction they're moving, I think Ty just does not look as good as Lewis looks. Like in a flat comparison of how they each have looked in their current past few fights, I'm gonna put Lewis over Ty.
Okay, cool. Yeah, me too. Me too. I wanted to make sure I wasn't tripping on that. And then as far as Nascimento goes, I don't think for almost the exact same reason, copy paste, I couldn't drop Nascimento below Tuivasa even after the loss. Like I'm not like Tuivasa just seems like he's kind of out on his own career. Like he has the beer
That's
business, the weed
that.
business. Like
That's what I feel is that like, we said this in the breakdown whenever they were showing like all that shit before the fight and it wasn't him training. I was like, oh, this is so bad. Like this is so bad. Like he's all about his beer company that they're doing the cut on the beer company and not like
yeah.
him training. Like oh fuck.
Well, and then did you jump Derek Lewis over Spivak because Spivak also has the win over him,
I did
but Spivak
not.
younger.
I
Me
did
neither.
not.
Okay, so we're seeing it the
I
division the
think
same way.
Spivak has way higher to go still. Like I think he's still an active dude for 3 to 4 years right now. Like can still get better in those 3 to 4 years. That's probably his
Yeah.
prime potential right there. Whereas I think Derek Lewis has maybe a year left, and I think he's at a really high level. But I just think his want to is gone within a year.
So I have Lewis at 11 and Nascimento at 12. I mean, I couldn't really find any other way to really shake it out.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I mean, oddly enough, like Lewis is 12 in the UFC's rankings. Like I
Yeah.
think the UFC's heavyweight rankings are actually not terrible, but that speaks to how few there are that are actually good.
Yeah, there's like 25 guys, so it's like, yeah, there's not
Well,
really much room for interpretation.
and actually good, I'd argue there's 12.
Yeah, fair, fair. Yeah, especially yeah, because I have two of us at 13, and we're just saying he's kind of out. So I
That's what I
kind of
mean.
yeah, yeah, aligned with how you're seeing it, man. But I mean, Derek Lewis did what Derek Lewis does: classic post-fight antics with the shorts off and the cup hat and all that good stuff. I mean, he gave the people what they want. And
Yeah.
it's funny because apparently in the post-fight he was talking about like let me go do some WWE and Dana, they're the partner companies now, sister companies. He said he was down for it. So like Derek,
Damn.
like he has the gimmick kind of built in. Like I'm sure he'll take the shorts off in the WWE. Like it's kind of I'm here for it. Like Derek Lewis deserves like a cushioned exit from the sport, in my opinion. Like
I could
there's
see
a not,
him.
yeah,
I could see him being a really fun character in the WWE, just with like he like winds up like a comic book punch, and it's like a comic book uppercut, and the guy just like sells it and flies backwards crazy. You know what I mean? Like I
oh
could
yeah, I
see
saw
it.
this like I could see it. Yeah, great on the mic. I saw this kind of troll tweet. They were saying like he could have a gimmick of having like a golden cup that he pulls out and hits somebody with it, and they were joking, but like legitimately, I could see that actually being
Well,
fire in the WWE. Like,
and he already has the animation where he like hits the ground and
yeah,
like
he has
pounds the
like his
ground
own
and like
emote. Yeah,
yeah, like
yeah,
he
yeah, the
has it. Like
emote.
he already has it. Like he already has WWE character moves that have to be like you have to have specific character entry and stuff like that. So yeah, he's perfect.
Perfect. Yeah, the Houston rap walkout song. Like, yeah, you can see it. You can see it now. Yeah, no, I hope I hope he gets that wish. Like seriously, like he's one of the guys. He's done a lot for the sport. He main evented a lot of bullshit cards. He fought killers, young lions, everybody in between. I think he's earned like a kind of a cushioned exit from the sport, or.
And
But man, go
we can
ahead.
keep it pushing, but I was going to say, to be fair to him, he's probably trained wrestling so long now that he surely has the basics of wrestling to where, like, he just has to learn how to sell punches and not actually hit people.
Yeah, everybody's gonna be nervous to take that match against Derek Lewis for sure, bro. But man, we got a welterweight co-main that's really interesting as fuck. A lot more interesting than the post-fight call-out, but we'll get to that as well,
Oh,
man. We got
God.
Joaquin Newmansa Buckley in his hometown. Got a big pop. Got a big pop. I was happy for him because I was like, is he a star in St. Louis? Like, do they actually ride with him? They do. Like, he got a big pop. And I was happy for him. And then taking on Nursultan Ruzboyev, another one we got to cry in our beer over. We like Ruzboyev. Granted, we only had him on one parlay, and it was kind of a long shot juice monster parlay,
Yeah, but
but
I still
we
felt
liked him.
pretty good about him.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm not going to walk it back now. Yeah, I mean, honestly, bro, this is because I bet Vicente Luque whenever he fought Buckley. This is 2 bets against Buckley and 2 L's. Like I cannot bet against this guy again. Like seriously, if we're ever doing a betting breakdown and I let that forget, viewers in the comments, call me out. You please call me out. I gotta stop betting against this guy. I'm just donating money to the fucking El Dorado here in downtown Reno.
Yeah, dude, it's so tough because like Buckley's one of those guys that I always, anytime I break him down, I focus on his bad matchups because he's looked so bad in them, and I never focus on how good he can be. Like he has
Well,
all the ceiling. He just I've seen him not have his floor so many times.
Well, that was all at middleweight too, though. Like at
That's a good
welterweight, he's
point.
undefeated and he's beating killers. Like he's not had an easy welterweight schedule and he's undefeated. Like honestly, bro, like I had to learn the hard way. Remember when you're a little kid and like you're kind of pissing off your mom and she's like, "Hey, we're gonna do this the easy way or the hard way." Like I had to learn that Joaquin Buckley's good at MMA the hard way. Like I
Right.
really did. Like
I
by
agree.
taking L's. Like you
Well,
had to convince me.
I'll be honest too, though. Like whenever he was on Rogan, it made me like not really. I didn't really feel him as much after that because I was like, I don't know. He just sounds like another dumb fighter. And like, no, sure enough, whenever he made that move down to welterweight, like he talked about how that was going to be a change in his career and how he and his coaches predicted that he was going to have a great run at welterweight, and like all that's been true. And I really just didn't believe it at the time. Like, goddamn.
I mean, yeah. So I mean, we got to talk about the performance a little bit. I mean, it was. I had a 30-26 Buckley. What did you score it? Because he wins every round. I don't think that's debatable. I guess one judge
gave the
Boy
first
a
round. Now I will say the first round is close if you're going strictly on damage, because Buckley gets 2 takedowns, but damage is really close in that round.
I'll be real. I don't have the. I easily gave it to Buckley. Like I don't know, and I'm a damage favoring guy. Like I don't know. I didn't even have to really like quibble back and forth on that one. Like to me, that was a Buckley round. Like I don't know. I was pretty shocked to see a judge gave one to Boy, but it was one judge, one round. I mean, I'm not gonna cry over it, but I'm just saying, like I was kind of caught me off guard.
Grant, I still scored it for Buckley. I have it
Yeah.
10-9 Buckley for sure, and I didn't put that it was slightly to Buckley either.
Yeah.
I just have that like literally in my notes. I have that Buckley dominated the grappling and that the damage might have been even.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. Did you give any 10-8s round 3?
Round 3, yeah, man. Like
Me too.
Nursultan just getting his ass whooped.
Yeah, it was almost stopped. It was almost stopped.
Probably
2 separate
should have
times.
been.
Yeah, probably should have been. And then there was the knockdown right when they were on the feet.
Well, this was
So,
Keith Peterson, right? Yeah.
believe
This is
so.
the second time in the night he failed to call a fight that I definitely thought should have been stopped. He had the longest leash for fighters last night. He was trying to see a guy go fully out, which we've seen him be there before.
I'll say, like, I don't feel as strongly about it as you do, but if you would have stopped it, I wouldn't be on this podcast saying it was a bad stoppage. I'll put it that way. Like,
Yeah,
I'm fine that he did it.
Like
but
I
like
think
if he
other
would have
refs
stopped it,
do stop it. Is I guess my point. Like he's in the rare.
I'll go could have been stopped, but I won't go as far as to say should have been stopped. I don't know if that makes sense.
We'll get to a fight that is earlier.
That one I might agree with you on.
Okay, thank you. Because this one I agree. This one fine, like close to a stoppage. I don't know, fair either way. The other fight that I don't want to give away, that shit should have been stopped.
Yeah, fair play, man. Yeah, I go 30-26. We both do. One judge agrees with us. One judge 29-27. One judge 30-27. I gotta say this as far as X's and O's goes. Nursultan kept spamming that flying knee, and Joaquin Buckley. I don't know if I've ever really seen this like kind of answer, but it wasn't fluky because it happened like 3 or 4 times. He would counter the flying knee with the takedown.
Yeah,
so like,
nice.
I guess it's risky, but I mean it was almost like a video game where it was just like programmed in, like you can time that. Like I don't know, like it was.
That's exactly what it was. It was just a timing thing. Like he could read his body language, so he knew when he was about to throw it. So he'd be like, "Oh, he's gonna take all of his weight off of his feet right now. Like now's the time."
Sultan has like the least nuanced striking like setups. Like he literally right hand laser beam and a flying knee. He doesn't even really throw kicks, which is crazy for a 6'5" guy to not throw kicks. It's kind of wild.
Dude, the right hand laser beam is his only weapon. I have to remind myself, Nursultan Ruzboyev has a right hand. That's it.
Very limited. Very limited. Bad
Super
takedown
limited.
defense, like subpar fight IQ,
How does he have
sus
20 submissions? I didn't see much danger off his back.
cardio. Um, yeah, kind of took a lot of steam out of the Rusboyev hype train, if you're asking me. Now, as far as Buckley goes, I moved him up to 14 in my welterweight power rankings, above Michael Morales. I couldn't jump him over Michael Venom Page. I don't know. Do you think I should have jumped him over Michael Venom Page, or do you just
Well,
have a completely
you
different?
you know I don't think that because I have Michael Venom Page in my like top 6.
So yes, and your voice was in my ear when I was like kind of debating that. I was like more.
Stylistically, Buckley's gonna get picked apart.
I kind of think so too. I kind of think so too. And like, I don't think Buckley's wrestling's at like super high level to be able to take down Michael Venom Page. So I have Michael Venom Page lower than you do, but I couldn't obviously jump Buckley over him. So I have Buckley at 14. You could argue like I have Fakardinov sitting kind of high because I think he could be a matchup problem. How do you think Buckley Fakardinov goes? Would you favor Buckley in that one?
After seeing the Ruzboyev fight, maybe because I wonder if Fakardinov gets dragged to deep waters and doesn't have it the same way Ruzboyev did. Now I think Fakardinov's more dangerous, like he has more to present to be dangerous, but I think they're close. I like Fakardinov slightly, but I think that's close.
You know, I think you just convinced me, bro. I think I just jumped Buckley over Fakardinov because, like, you know what this weekend told me? Like, I gotta, especially after my last week's oral by hot take. Like, I really do gotta cool my jets on these unproven guys. I really
Yeah,
do.
we need
I
more
really
sample
do.
size on a lot of these guys, man.
We really do, bro. Honestly, like, I learned a lesson. Like, when they say like, make a mistake and learn from it. It ain't a mistake. Like, that's what we got to do this weekend. That's what we got to do. Like, we got to learn from this.
Yeah,
Otherwise, we just made a donation. I'd rather pay to take a class than just make a donation. Like, I
that's
got a cool. Yeah.
that's a good sell right there. I like that.
But yeah, man. And then Rusboyev, bro, as far as welterweight goes, it's kind of interesting because I have him ranked lower in welterweight. I had to rank him in both divisions now. I have him all the way down at 24, man. I have him slightly above Carlston Harris and behind like D Rod and RDA. And then at middleweight, I had to drop him. Let's see, middleweight Ruzboyev down to 20 behind Joe Piper and above Paul Craig. I couldn't put him
See,
behind Paul Craig. I'm not that out.
I have big questions about Ruzboyev because like I think his middleweight ranking, I only dropped him like 2. Reason being though is because I wonder if the cardio is near as much of an issue with the 15 extra pounds of water.
I think that's a fair point, but like, yeah, I couldn't have him above Bo Nickel. I couldn't have him above Joe Piper. I couldn't even put him above Jack Hermanson, just like fight IQ. Jack Hermanson would take him to school.
I agree. I think him and Piper are like they're close for me. Those guys are close.
And then I don't know if you caught this on the broadcast. I didn't know Rusboyev trains at that gym with Piper in them. Well, you're kind of down that gym.
Did not
and
catch
then he
that.
said,
God damn it.
His own words. He said, "Yeah, Joe Piper's like the team captain." So like that means that like he's like an alpha. Like that's why I was like, "Oh, you look up to him. I'm not power ranking you above him. If you like, you're telling us he's better than you."
Well, and that's also probably why he's going to 170 is so that he doesn't have to be in Piper's weight class.
That's actually might be a good point. Like fucking what is it? DC and Kane from Wish.
Yeah, yeah, the Temu version of DC and Kane. That's awesome, but yeah, man, I guess we can keep it pushing. I think for Buckley, as far as like who he fights next, I think him and Sean Brady is fun. I think him and Jeff Neal is fun.
Word on the street, it's Gilbert Burns, which I don't hate. I
don't hate that either. I think that's a fun fight, and stylistically, like it's a good matchup. Like they both kind of do the same things well, but neither guy's afraid. Like in fact, that's one thing we should touch on. Rusboyev would like literally not engage with Buckley. At one point, Buckley was like, "Come the fuck on, man! Like fight me."
And also, like Rusboyev, bro, this is crazy. 6'5" guy fighting at welterweight. One last take, and we'll keep it pushing. 6'5" guy fighting at welterweight. Like, what would any kind of obvious day one hell YMCA coach would tell you?
And the leg kicks.
Single one of either, bro. Like you didn't give yourself a chance, dog. You didn't give yourself a chance. 6'5" guy, welterweight, 0 jabs, 0 calf kicks. Like, what are we doing here? Like seriously,
It's
like
so
like
funny when you say it because it's literally obvious. It's actually obvious.
yeah, it's almost like cliche. It's like Captain Obvious. Like it's too obvious, but like it's for a reason. Like
Which,
for you're fighting a 5'10" guy, a 5'10" guy.
which I would say points to the fact of why I'm down in that gym. Because the coaches aren't telling him in that fight, like, hey, you need to work your jab. You're way longer. Get some leg kicks. Keep some distance with him. Yeah, down in the gym. Down on him. We'll keep it pushing. We'll go up to light heavyweight. Number 11, Alonzo Minifield, plus 215. Taking on Carlos Olberg, minus 265. This card needed this fight bad.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. A lot of decisions.
A lot of
Yeah.
decisions. And some snoozy decisions at that.
Yeah, a couple of those. And man, we were just saying earlier how like, all right, we got to pump the brakes on these prospects that are unproven. Well, like I think this was the proving grounds for Olberg. Like beating Minifield in a first round KO, like
12
you're not
seconds.
beating contender series guys. Like Minifield, I respected Minifield. I actually thought this like if you, those of you that watched the betting show and in all our group text, I was thinking this money line was out of line. Well, obviously I'm fully like come out smelling like shit on that one, but like uh Olberg proved it. Like this is no longer really like a. I think this is the fight where Olberg goes from prospect to contender, right? Like he's in the mix. Like he's a real guy. He's a factor.
Couldn't agree more, man. Because like we look at his schedule, and we hold that Nzechukwu loss against him. It's his UFC debut in
Hard debut,
and it was in Australia, so it's at home. Like the biggest lights for him in his debut. Like that is super tough, especially against a guy that big, right? But then
yeah.
gets the decision win against Fabio Chiron, gets back on track. Since then, man, since June 2022, he's KO'd or submitted everyone he's fought.
Yeah, and I think a lot of those guys were cans, which is like that was our question mark. But like I said, like that question has been answered. I went from question mark to box check.
I'll say this. I think out of the 5, right, 2 are cans, 2 are not. So Tafon and Chukwi and Ihor Potieria, cans. I think Nikolai Negumereanu. Yeah, well, that would be win number 6, though. So I'm saying, like, Tafon and Chukwi can for sure, but Negumereanu, really good chin, so to get the KO on him in first round, I like that.
Totally.
Like, I think that's good. And then the Dawoon Jung submission, I like that. That
can.
shows...
Nah, that's a can. That's a can.
Aww.
I actually have him in my cans here. That's why I can say that with my chest. Like,
all right,
I think
in that case, ESPN trying to get free ads, never. Caught it quick that time. Alonzo Minifield is for sure the one where it's like, all right, this is serious.
Yeah, I mean, even after this loss, which like we'll get to it, 12 seconds in. I mean, that's why we're not really spending time on the fight itself. The fight lasted 12 seconds. I gotta say, Alonzo Minifield charged across that cage. I was telling my wife was like in the kitchen when I was watching the fight, and I was like, this was like a fight you'd see in the back of a strip club, not that you'd see from a professional athlete. You know what I mean? Like
quite literally.
Like he literally sprinted head first, like rah, like some fucking comic book bullshit. Like some back of a Buffalo Wild Wings, back of a strip club. You know what I mean? It was zero technique, zero game plan. Like I guess I'll give you heart and balls, but in the top, you know what I mean? Like top 15 fight, like on a main card. I don't know if that's what I'm really looking for.
Especially when you're the guy with the number 11 ranking against an unranked guy, you'd think you'd want to protect that a little more.
Yeah, man. It was real bad performance from Minifield. As far
here's what's super interesting to me is that I think Minifield, they give him the benefit of the doubt. He probably still stays ranked. Maybe goes to like number 15, and Ryan Spann falls out. Well, I'm fine with that. That would make sense to me. Or Dominic Reyes out once again would make sense to me. Now Olberg probably slides in at 12. I bet Guskov goes to 11.
Are you talking about UFC rankings or power rankings?
Yeah, no, UFC rankings. Just because, like, that's kind of how they like to matchmake shit, it seems like. I could see if Khalil Roundtree takes a hard L here, that Olberg and Roundtree get matched up.
For sure, man. As far as power rankings go, I moved Olberg up to 8. I said he checked a lot of boxes for me. I'm a believer. I got him right behind Rockage, but I did skip him over Roundtree. Is that crazy of me? Is that a hot take? I like it more than Roundtree right now.
Maybe. Roundtree's looked pretty good recently. I think he's looked very juicy lately.
No, I agree. Yeah. You think I should walk that back? You think I should learn from my learn from my Roundbesky fucking ball washing? You think I need to? You think I should power rank Roundtree over Oldberg?
I think
Am I too
Roundtree's
enamored by the movie star good looks? Did they get me?
Roundtree's just so proven. You know what I mean, man? Like, has the I mean, obviously they like him a lot because he's fighting Jamal Hill next. Like, that's a huge step up. But like, first round KO against Dawkins, whatever. Gets the KO of Anthony Smith, which that looks way better now in hindsight, I think too.
Yep,
And then
fair,
decision win over Jacoby, which, I mean, as far as just striking
decent.
goes, decent, yeah.
Yeah, not a can, not a can.
I mean, but then before that, it was KOing Cans, but was KOing him. You know what I mean? Like KO'd Badescus Bukowskis. That was that knee kick that like inverted Homer's
Yeah,
knee,
yeah.
and then Carl Roberson knocked him out hard too. So yeah, Khalil Rountree's on a 5-fight win streak, and he's looked really strong. I think he's like building in those five. That's why I just
I'll take your word on it. I'm with you, bro. Thanks. Save me from my over eagerness here. But yeah, so that drops Oldberg to 9, but still over Ozdemir, right? I'll
yes,
take him over Ozdemir right now. I'll take him over Ozdemir. And then as far as Minifield goes, I dropped him to 16. Like I said, I have him
yeah,
right above Ryan Spann, just like you were saying, above Dustin Jacoby. But so this was the philosophical debate I had to have with Minifield versus Vitor Petrino, both coming off of losses, both look like shit. Both very fast first round losses. Both of them have something in common too. Fought like idiots, both meatheads, right?
I,
So I was like,
I like Petrino in that fight.
I was about to say, all right, if I have like meathead with low fight IQ and meathead with low fight IQ, guess what? I'm gonna go with the younger one, right? If they're
Yeah,
like two meatheads with bad fight IQs, like give me the younger one.
yeah, fully agree. Especially the one that has like been less chin checked. Like one got submitted, one got flatlined.
Fair, man. But yeah, I'll say light heavyweight needs Oldberg. Like I'm excited. Like I can see maybe Oldberg Rokic next, Oldberg Krylov next, Oldberg Ozdemir next. One of these kind of guys, right?
Yeah, that's what I think he deserves. But I could also see them doing like a Guskov Olberg and trying to
Yeah.
find out who's going to be the guy. And I don't think they have that many eggs in Guskov, where I think they have a lot of eggs in Olberg. So it's kind of an easy like, okay, we can either move the eggs over or keep them where they are.
Oldberg Span maybe even like I mean
I
in
could see
my
that
power
too.
rankings that doesn't make sense, but I can see the UFC doing it. Like Span, decent name. I think he's co-mained a couple times. Like
Especially while light heavyweight kind of figures itself out above him with Roundtree and Hill and all that. I now once again, if Roundtree loses that, easily I could see Guskov Roundtree. I could see, but the problem is if Roundtree gets KO'd, I don't know.
yeah, see, that's why I'm just not going to factor that in. I'm not going to factor that in. Like I said, Krylov hasn't fought in a hot minute. Ozdemir hasn't fought in a hot minute. Um, and like I think the UFC might be kind of like annoyed with Span, like maybe
I
want to feed
agree.
Span to Oldberg. But yeah, man, I mean, we can keep it pushing this next one because I gotta say, as bad as this sucked, granted, we had a $5 sprinkle on Rombesky by KO, so not the end of the world on the method of victory prop. But I gotta say, I was pleasantly surprised. Like, I was bummed out I lost the bet, but like a guy like Diego Fiera, I had pretty much completely counted out. 39 years old, pretty inactive. Fights like once every 2 years. He's 39 years old. Formally ranked, but Besky, right? I was shoveling all the coal in his hype train. I was all over him. I had him super high on my power rankings, and I had this as a 3-star pick for Round Besky. I
Me
mean, I
too.
mean, Vegas did. This is when I don't feel bad. I'll own it. Vegas did too. This is like minus 500 or some shit. So it's like I wasn't. It's not like I'm really. Everybody felt this way, right? And then to see a guy like Ferreira, bet be damned, but to see that guy, come off the couch and put on a master class and just shock the world, it was entertaining. Like losing the bet sucked, right? But like as a guy at home watching the fights on a Saturday night was pretty epic.
His chin was awesome. He ate some crazy shots in the first round. I mean, got dropped, survived it to his credit. I thought it was a fun first round until he got dropped as far as like scoring. Like it was pretty back and forth. I thought Rumbeshki was slightly ahead. Then obviously gets the knockdown, wins the round. And then from that point on, Diego Ferreira like did not look back. Just said, fuck it, and won. like every instance of the fight from that point on, in my opinion. Like I thought he dominated the second round and clearly dominated the third. The third was on its way to a 10-8.
Control the distance with the straight punches, right? Rembowski's kind of a fucking kind of stumpy
Once
built
again,
guy.
piss missile right. You just dodge the piss missile right on these hype trains, and apparently they can't fight.
Ferreira, a way better pace, especially in 2 and 3. Rembowski kind of shot his load in round 1. Yeah, I mean, and then the damage that just compiled on Rembowski's face was
he was beat.
Insane. So bad.
Now,
so bad.
What is wild is this fight on all judges' scorecards and mine was 19-19 going to the third, but I already knew it was a losing bet, if that makes sense. Like, the way the second round went, I was like, this is over.
No shot. Like, to the point where I can't even call it a sweat. It, like, wasn't a sweat.
I wasn't sweating. Like, I was literally sitting there like this, just like, this guy's a piece of shit. Like, I was just cussing him out.
Not happening. Just not happening. But I gotta say, I mean, because Rembowski, he did look good in that first round, right? Yeah. I gotta say, man, to me, this was all about Diego Ferreira. And I'm not trying to give Rembowski a pass. Nobody, like Vegas didn't expect Ferreira to look like that. Rembowski didn't expect Ferreira to look like that. I don't know if Ferreira expected Ferreira to look like that. If I'm being, I don't think Dana did. Like, I think Dana was trying to feed Ferreira. Like, I really do. Like, I don't think so. Like, that's why I don't feel like dumb for like losing this bet or giving this bet out. Like, Ferreira shocked the world. Like that phrase gets thrown around in combat sports, like shock the world. I think this is like an actual real life, like minus 500, like 39 years old, hasn't fought in 2 years.
And
like
he got the
nobody.
finish. Like technically a finish for his record.
You're right. Yeah, third round TKO. So much damage. Was well on the way to the 10-8. Was brutal. I mean, Rembowski's pictures that he posted I honestly, I wouldn't have posted those. I'm a guy that shares a lot of my life on social media, like whatever. I would have posted those, dog. Like I really don't. Like it was so bad.
Beat up so bad.
I mean, he looked like he was like in a car wreck or something. Like it doesn't even look like a guy who was in an MMA fight. Like he literally looks like he survived like a terrorist attack. Like he fucking.
To be fair, like he had 123 significant or 94 significant strikes to the head alone,
and they were stiff and accurate and well timed. Like,
and that's not counting the ground and pound he was eating at the end, because those are technically ground strikes, but I think those are significant as shit whenever you're barely defending.
For sure, man. I mean, now this was real interesting. You want to talk about power rankings wise? Because I was in a bind here. I had Ferreira so low, and I had Rembowski so high. So I had to figure out how to like reconcile this, right? Like I was way off on this, and I know MMA math isn't everything, but clearly Ferreira is way better than I had him ranked. I had him ranked in like the 40s or 50s. Like clearly he's much better than that. And I had Rembowski, I think, at like number 15, and clearly he's not that. So how I reconcile this, and I want to bounce some ideas off of you. I'm not necessarily sold on this, but I dropped Rembowski to 18. I have him above Jalen Turner because he didn't quit. Jalen Turner would be fumbling and quitting, and like, so I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Like if Rembowski and Jalen Turner fought, do you think that like if he struggled that much with Ferreira's length and shit that he would struggle with?
Yes, that. The length is crazy. He only has a 67-inch reach.
Yeah, but man, I do respect the mental side of it. Like I think he's way tougher than Jalen Turner, way more focused than Jalen Turner.
But wouldn't Turner have like literally an 11-inch reach advantage? Like it would be disgusting.
So, like I said, today is not the day to make arguments for Rembowski. I will drop below Turner. All right, and then what about Joel Alvarez? I have a hard time maybe moving him below a Joel Alvarez.
I have a hard time with it, but then I also think like Rembowski's going to be...
Joel Alvarez 6'3".
Joel
Alvarez 6'3" as well.
Rembowski's a guy that's really hard for me to power rank, and I realized that whenever I was dropping him, because he presents an extremely difficult challenge for about 6 minutes, but it's also one of those things where if you have a chin or good head movement, it's not that much of a problem. Or if you're really long, not that much of a problem. So... You're
right, Joel Alvarez 6'3". You know what? No, like I said, today is not the day to make arguments pro Rembowski. All right, Drew Dober.
Now I think we're getting to the land of like, and this is where I have him really close to as well. Is like him and Dober. That's a fun ass fight. Like that is probably like if you want to say they're 22 and 23, I'm fine with that, or 21 and 22, whatever it is. That's cool. I think I have them at 24 and 23 in my rankings. So
I currently have Rambeski at 20, Dober at 21. Because
okay, yeah.
Dober definitely has better cardio, though. Dober definitely has better
I know he's
cardio.
a more complete fighter and he's smarter. Because like I did not see Rumbeski be smart in this fight either. He had low
And,
fight
and,
IQ.
and he's more proven. All right, then that brings me to Bobby Green. It's hard for me to put him above Bobby Green. Bobby
I
Green's
know.
fire.
Think about the striking defense of Bobby Green versus Rumbeski, tiring him out, wearing him out.
You know what? I'm dropping it. But, all right, so I'm not dropping him below Grant Dawson, though.
No, I
Because
didn't
Grant,
either. I didn't
yeah.
either.
All
So
right.
what do you have him at now?
I just dropped Rambeski to 22 and Ferreira at I have Ferreira now. Now we got a different debate at 17. I have him above
Ooh.
Jalen. I have him above Jalen Turner. You can tell I'm out on Jalen Turner, but how do you feel about that? And I didn't jump him over Zellhuber. So I didn't jump him over Zellhuber, but I did jump him over Jalen Turner. Am I a crazy person? Does that sound all mixed up to you?
I do have him behind Jalen Turner still. I think once again, like the fight style is going to matter there, and Fajeda is going to not be able to successfully get that range control. So
You're
I think
right. He
same with
can't do
Joel
to Turner what he.
Alvarez. So I have him right behind Joel Alvarez because I do have him in
I'll
front
rock
of
with that.
Dover.
I'll rock with that. A lot more technical than Dober.
Right, that's what I think. Like I think he could actually pick Dober apart pretty well, and Dober's shorter.
Agreed. All right. No, I'm on board with this. So that drops Ferreira to 19 and Rombeski at 22. I think
That's
that's kind of
fair.
fair to say.
That's fair.
Yeah. All right, bro. All right, man. Yeah, lightweight. There's a lot of lightweights on this card, so we'll be talking about these lightweight power rankings all night long. Let's keep it pushing the featherweight, though. Everybody was saying that this was like the hardcore's main event, and I kind of agree with them. This fight mattered a lot for the division, and we got some wonky scorecards here, man. This is what we got to go round by round on for sure.
Oh, 100%. Let's get into it. We got Alex Caceres plus 185 versus Sean Woodson minus 225. I like the Woodson decision here, but didn't like it enough to put any money on it. Didn't think the number was really nice enough. I mean, plus 160 was nice, but I just didn't want to put my foot down on it. And that being said, the way I scored it, I would not have cashed the bet.
Yeah, man, and I slightly leaned Caceres, but like literally as a no bet in my official notes, like I picked Caceres on verdict, but I didn't have any money on this fight, and I had them power ranked literally right next to each other. That's how I arrived at the no bet. But I mean, let's get to it, man, because like I said, I saw everybody was talking about these scorecards on Twitter. I disagreed with the final verdict. Sean Woodson himself seemed extremely relieved whenever the scorecards got read. Like, I'm not so sure that Sean Woodson scored it for himself. Um, let's get to it, bro. How'd you see round one?
So round one, I scored to Woodson. I thought he started out really well. Caceres battled back extremely well in the middle part of the round, and then Woodson, honestly, I thought won out on the end of the round. So I gave it to Woodson. And I thought that was probably the least close round of the fight, and it was still pretty fucking close.
I'm on board with all of that. I gave it to Woodson as well. And so, one point I want to make real quick is that I gave it to him largely because of the calf kicks. And this is relevant because from rounds 2 and 3, he abandoned the calf kick, which I thought cost him said rounds. We'll get to it. But I gave him round one mainly because of the calf kicks. He just completely bailed on it. I don't know why guys do that. That's a very common thing we see. Round one, ton of calf kicks. Stop for no apparent reason.
It's almost like in their head they're like, yeah, I'm gonna open him up. I'm gonna bake the bread. You know what I'm saying? Soften him up, and then it's like, no, the leg kicks like you got to keep doing. Like it's like tenderizing. Like you got to do it for all 15.
Joanna Sabrito would have stopped throwing leg kicks last week. You know what I mean?
Yeah, people should take notes. Fights get stopped from leg kicks. It's not all too rare now. Leg kick stoppages.
And like Caceres was not reacting well to them. Like you could tell they were bothering him, affecting his music movement. You could tell he wasn't having a great time. Eating those. He wasn't really checking them good.
He was doing a good job of being in and out. Like he was either out of Woodson's range or like really close to him. He was doing a good job of that. Now that speaks to your point of Woodson not keeping the kicks active because had he probably would have kept Caceres at better range. Uh-oh, got a little lag spike here.
You there? I think
Oh
you
yeah,
froze up.
we're back. We're back. Mm.
All right, we're back. We're back.
Sorry about that. That's my connection. It's letting me know right now on my screen.
All good, man. But yeah. What were you saying about you think taking Alex Caceres, right?
What's that?
What you were, I think, I don't know. And when it froze up, I think you were talking about like what you liked from Caceres and
Oh
one.
yeah, so he was doing a great job being in and out. He was either outside of Woodson's range or he was up close, making it where he could grab him, kind of grapple him. Where Woodson had to focus more on shelling and fighting the arms and getting back out to the range he wanted to be at. And then Caceres wouldn't just chase him; he'd stand and wait and let the range get too far, and then work his way back in. He fought a really high fight IQ kind of a fight.
For sure, bro. And then in round two, Caceres started, putting Sean Woodson on the back foot. Caceres started pressuring him. When that was a game changer. I thought that was where things really started to flip. Caceres clearly the stronger man, both as far as
Yes,
power punches and then whenever they would clinch up, clearly the stronger man.
Woodson.
So I thought that was on full display.
Woodson very clearly not strong at all.
Which he doesn't look strong. The homie Nick Gaines, shout out Nick Gaines if you're seeing this right now. He was texting me saying that like Woodson needs to hit the weights and move up a weight class.
I
And I
agree.
don't necessarily hate that. He's very frail, like very frail.
Doesn't look like he
Um,
carries the power with him when he goes down to 45. Like he needs to have that extra muscle on his back and shoulders and go up to 55.
I 1,000% agree. And then I guess this really comes down to how you score round three. And in all fairness to the judges, I thought round three is the hardest round to score and is the round I could, see going either way. So to say robbery is I see how they get there, but well, except for one judge, we'll get to that guy. But I lean Caceres in three, which gives me a Caceres scorecard. But I mean, he had Sean Woodson on the back foot. I think the significant strike numbers, if I'm not mistaken, were on the side of Caceres. And like a very close round, like Woodson was winning some exchanges and having success, but just that optic of Caceres marching him around the octagon kind of stood out to me.
I agree. I thought the optic was not in Woodson's favor. Now Woodson battled back in the last 50 seconds pretty hard to try to like
Yeah,
look like the guy that was winning the round at the end, which I thought was super important to the optics. Very surprised to see all three judges score it for him. And the judge that gave him round two, get the fuck out of here.
yeah. One judge goes 30-27, and I was in this little thread on Twitter talking about how I think that judge actually did him more harm than good
Yeah.
because the internet was alive with everybody saying robbery, robbery, robbery. But I think if it's 29-28 with a coin toss third round, I don't think anybody's saying robbery. One judge going 30-27 is just sus as fuck, though.
Yeah.
In the hometown,
In the
come
hometown.
on,
That was the
come on
sus
now.
part. That was the sus part. And honestly, for me, this is one where like rankings wise, I like it's not a whole lot of movement either way for me.
Agreed, agreed.
This is kind of
I have
exactly what I thought it would be. It was like Sean Woodson in a tight decision.
so I scored it to Caceres, so
I mean, I
I
did
put
too,
Caceres.
technically. So I
So
guess I should flip them, but
yeah, that's what I did, bro. I literally flipped them. I have Caceres at 20, Sean Woodson at 21. I did jump Sean Woodson above guys like Gomez and Nathaniel Wood and Jack Jenkins. Like I moved them both up basically.
right. So I moved Caceres up slightly and then brought Woodson like almost like tailed him up like on his
Yeah,
coattails.
I basically did the same thing. Yeah, guys like Gomez and Jack Jenkins have a lot more to prove. Nathaniel Wood being 5'6", I think against both of these guys is a big problem. Um, and then I had to stop short of Sadiq Yusuf. Yusuf obviously with the win over Caceres not too far ago, so call it MMA math if you will. But yeah, bro, I mean a close fight, very close fight. We both lean Caceres though. That's interesting.
You know what I would love to see the match make out of this is Woodson and Zalal rematch because I think Zalal is dogging him this time.
I actually agree with a lot of that. And I guess we'll mention the call out. Sean Woodson called out Bryce Mitchell. Bryce Mitchell seemingly accepted on social media, which I understand why. After taking the past couple ass whoopings that Bryce Mitchell's taken, I think he looks at Sean Woodson as easy money. Like I think if he grabs the
Yeah.
hold, like if Caceres was able to clinch him up, I mean, what's Bryce Mitchell going to do to him if he gets his hands on him? And like Bryce Mitchell's been struggling with like power, right?
Yeah,
Emmett,
Woods is not a
Taporia.
power guy.
Exactly. I would hammer Bryce Mitchell if that fight gets made.
Bro, they put Bryce Mitchell against power strikers in his last like 3 fights. It's so brutal being a grappling heavy guy.
Coming off those L's, I can see the UFC making that fight. Like I said, he accepted on social media. I
Yeah,
think they like he kind of needs that kind of matchup. You know what I'm saying? Like for multiple reasons to see if he still got it, and also to give him a break from nuke throwers.
yeah, 100%. Couldn't agree more. As far as Caceres, they'll just keep throwing him to fun matchups because he always brings a fun fight. He'll just probably
Totally.
continue to be a
Yeah,
good fight night main card guy.
yeah, exactly. He's getting older. He's not making another run, but he's also not washed and he's not trash. Like I said, I have him at 20, right outside the top 15. But like, I think he could go with those guys. He could go with the Naimov. He could go with an Ige. I mean, he has L's to a couple of the guys in the top 15, but like he can go with them. Like a Brito, I think he could go with a Brito. I would pick
Ooh.
Brito. I would pick Brito, but I'm just saying maybe a decision. Like I don't know. Like I don't know. I'm just saying I think he can go with that caliber of guy. I don't think there's like really bad matchmaking you can really do with Caceres. You could fight him up a couple spots. You could fight him down a couple spots. He can go. He's like that caliber of guy where he's not going to be like outclassed or unable to defend himself against like really almost anybody outside of the top 10.
Fair? No, it's fair. Like I think he's super complete. I fully agree with that. But that said, let's keep it pushing to my most disappointing pick of the week for myself. That is going to be good sir Robelis to Spain minus 245 against Waldo Cortez Acosta plus 200. This fight was absolute dog shits. One of the worst fights I've dog shit, not dog shits. One of the worst fights I've really ever had to sit through. This was as bad as Lewis and Ngannou for the same exact reasons.
Ah, no,
It
no,
was
no,
terrible. This
no.
was a terrible fight.
Yes, but not that bad because, like, at the start of the rounds, Robelis would be teeing off, and then Cortez Acosta would get on top, and from that point on, it pretty much did suck. But even him getting the takedown, like Lewis and Ngannou or fights like that, they're just kind of circling around. Like, we saw something take place, but I get you. This fight did suck, but let's pump the
It
brakes there.
almost
But
well, it almost blue balled me harder to see Robelis throw these bombs and then just nothing. And then throw bombs for 10 more seconds and then nothing.
I'll say this. I'm glad, glass half full, silver lining here. This happened in fight 2, fight 6 or 7. Like we nipped it in the bud, right? Like the hype train got derailed. We learned our lesson the hard way. Like we ripped off the band-aid, right? We didn't drag this out 4-0, 5-0, get fraud checked like Petrino, right?
Oh, it was. I fully agree with that take, but like, man, it was just like watching Despain not even know how to shrimp was like, what? How did this guy win MMA fights before? Like, it's just shocking.
You know what? I have kind of an interesting little nuanced perspective on this. Like watching Robelis to Spain makes me want to give Glover Teixeira Coach of the Year.
For
Like
Poetan, yeah, agreed.
like what, because when he like Poetan, he's no Ryan Hall on the ground, but he don't look like that. He don't
No,
look like that bullshit. He don't look like that bullshit. Whenever, so like shout out to Glover, right? Because I mean, taking a similar guy and like he's like Poetan's competent on the ground, like
uh,
maybe blue belt.
uh,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
the
yeah.
Poetan,
The grunts, the grunts. I mean, right, 30-27, Walter Cortez Acosta. I mean, this killed one of our parlays. You went 2 for 3 on a parlay. This killed us, which also killed us getting in the green. Like this probably would have either made us break even or get in the green.
Yeah, I would
So
have been.
this really
I would
sucked.
have been $27 positive with this one. This guy fucked me.
Yeah, this was real. But like I said, hindsight happened when it did because we didn't have to keep this charade going. But this is another one where this doesn't make me jump Waldo Cortez across up the rankings.
That's my thing. Is I almost moved him. Like I almost moved him down.
Yeah. I may actually did. So
Because
I
his cardio looked like shit all the same. Like Robelis's cardio was bad, But if he has to fight a heavyweight that has any sort of 3-round cardio, Cortez Acosta is also fucked.
Those guys are few and far between, but also the judge that gave Cortez Acosta a 10-8 is wild. When like there was like no damage done in this fight.
That was the problem, was lack of damage. Like
yeah,
it was just snoozing
like
because it was no damage.
Do you have the scorecards pull up? I couldn't even tell you what round was a 10-8. Like, I mean, they all looked the same, and none of them had a lot of damage. So how you single out one as a 10-8 is kind of beside, like,
round 3.
How do you even get there? Like, I guess it's cumulative. But
I guess when he's holding him in his corner
judge.
and just punching him in the head and talking shit to Rebellis' corner, maybe that's what he's like. He's dominant.
Gave him style points. Like, they literally gave him style points.
Yeah, which
like,
I actually don't hate. If I'm being honest, if the judge came out and said, "Nah, he was styling on that fool. He was talking shit to him and his corner while punching him in the face. That's a 10-8. He was dominating him." Okay, I'll at least hear it.
I guess that'd be cool to hear and like to see have a guy like put his nuts out there and say it with his chest like that. But I'm just saying, like, I don't think that's part of the unified rules. Like, I don't know if that's like,
I mean, damage, duration, dominance. I think dominance is 10 out of 10 there. I think duration was damn near 10 out of 10, 5 minutes out of 5 minutes. Damage is where you're lacking, so, like, I don't know.
And I'll push back on that interpretation. I guess we sound like the Supreme Court here with interpretation, but, like, I'm just saying, like, I think dominance, like, damage is part of the dominance equation. Saying you don't have any damage, but you're very dominant is kind of an oxymoron to me. Like, I see how you get there, but like it was one-way traffic, but I don't know. I don't love the 10-8.
I mean, I would say Khabib plenty of times was so dominant that it was like 10-8 level when he didn't even have to inflict the damage. He just would because he was so good.
To say typically he did though. Yeah, I guess more of a philosophical debate there. I don't love giving any round. It's like I don't like rewarding that Cortez Acosta performance with a 10-8. I guess is like where I'm at.
Yeah, to me it's more a conviction of Despain if I'm defending the 10-8. Like if I'm steelmanning that argument, it's more like Despain did nothing. I mean, laid on his side, really.
Yeah. If we were lucky enough to get to a hip, right? Most of it was both shoulders on the mat. Like, that's a pin in wrestling, most of it. But, all right, let's talk power rankings here, man. I mean, this division sucks ass. Even after that performance, I still have Waldo Cortez Acosta at 15. Like, I don't think, like, I mean, I jumped him over Rosenstruik because I was like, I mean, if he could deal with Despain on the feet, I think he can deal with Rosenstruik on the feet. And Rosenstruik's older. I don't know, or I guess the same age as Despain. But the real kind of topic, I don't know. Where do you have Waldo? Do you have him at 15? I'm behind Rogerio de Lima.
So I have him also right behind Rogerio de Lima. He does have the loss to Rogerio de Lima, so that actually makes sense. Next fight, I think, is pretty straightforward, man. It's Nascimento and Waldo Cortez Acosta. I think that's perfect. They're right around each other in rankings, both. One coming off the win that was below in UFC's eyes, and you know what I'm saying?
I think that makes a lot of sense. But I kind of want to spend more time talking about how far we dropped Robellis, man.
Oh, my God.
Dropped him down to 20. Didn't want to drop him below Shamil Gaziev just because Shamil's so slow with the hands. So unathletic. I think Robellis just could out-athlete that one. Maybe I'm crazy, but Shamil Gaziev, like I'm more out. Like I'll give Robellis the freak of nature bonus points in that one and lean towards him because Gaziev's slow and plodding and just kind of dog shit. Like at least Robellis like brings something to the table. I think Gaziev is like mid everywhere as opposed to at least Robellis has something to hang his hat on and he's a freak.
Yeah, I can see that. I agree with that. And I think as far as like to your athlete point, Cortez Acosta, not a terrible athlete, like was damn near a professional baseball player. So, and I think baseball players are underrated athletically.
Well, I mean, he wasn't major league, but he was professional. He was, I think, double A or triple A.
Yeah.
Like, that's
not
professional.
Major, yeah. Sorry, that I should have said minor league.
No, totally. I mean, he is a professional athlete in two different sports. He's a very good athlete. And like I said, Shamil Gaziev, he looked like had fucking, you know when people like shadow box with little dumbbells in their hands?
Yeah.
That's what it looks like with fucking Gazib. I think Robelis Despain could beat him to the spot. That might be the fight to make next. I mean, Gazib, like it or not, has main evented like as that was the worst main event of all time, but technically is true. Like I think you could throw that on like a fight night main card.
And would be a real fraud check if Despain loses that one. I mean, that is like we're talking. He's going near the can tier at that point.
If he loses that one, he's blood diamond. He's just an oversized blood diamond. He's blood diamond in the secret ooze from fucking Ninja Turtles. But yeah, man, that wraps up the main card, man. Just like I said, I mean, on verdict was dog shit. At the sports book was dog shit as far as main card go. We did slightly better on the prelims, but yeah, bad week at the books, bad week on the picks. I mean, overall, not a bad main card, but you know, when you're eating shit at the books, it makes it hard to enjoy. But we did get we did get Oldberg a star being born. Diego Ferreira not in fact dead, and Joaquin Buckley, like it or not, kind of matters at welterweight. So we get some storylines moving forward out of the main card at least.
Yeah, Buckley and Lewis really saved this card with the storylines, in my opinion, for like the casual fan, because those were both like Derek Lewis on the mic. You always want Derek Lewis to win if you're a UFC fan. That's just facts. Like that's just straightforward. But then Buckley at home, big love, looked good. I thought it was a big night for both guys.
Yeah, I think Buckley did a lot for himself. Oh, we didn't touch on the dog shit Conor McGregor call out.
Oh yeah.
I mean, everybody's already kind of dunked on him for it. Like all the like viral MMA accounts are like worst call out ever. So like, you know, we're not sitting here, you know, trying to be super geniuses by making this hot take, but it was really bad. And like that's what like 10 minutes after he made it, he's on the desk with Joban and the boys, and he admits like, yeah, like that's not going to happen. I just thought that like, and he said something about like saying McGregor's name would help him in the algorithm or some dog shit. And so, like, self-admittedly a wasted call-out. And then he proceeds to make the Gilbert Burns, like, actual call-out when nobody's watching on the ESPN Plus post-fight show. And it's like, that, like, I think if he would have used his actual call-out to call out Gilbert Burns, I mean, that's fight night main event all day. That might even be an arena fight night main event.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially if it's in the Midwest. Especially if it's in the Midwest or Florida. You know, for each guy's respective home state, like that's a arena fight night main event.
Yeah,
which he could have locked up.
If they did like a Kansas City or like a Chicago or like really anywhere around the Midwest area, in Omaha,
Milwaukee, you look at a map, all those cities are right by each other. Like all those Great Lakes cities, they're very
wild.
Close. Yeah, Detroit. I mean, all those cities are right fucking there. But yeah, bro, yeah, a Midwest card, or like I said, Burns is like an adopted Floridian. I think he's headlined Florida cards before. So
he is. He's Miami boy.
Yeah, they could go to Orlando or Tallahassee or some shit, sell out the Florida State basketball arena. You know what I mean? Like seriously, I mean, yeah, shit like that. But instead, he tried to fucking go Twitter viral and call out McGregor, and I can see Dana like not wanting to reward that. Like that was a waste of everybody's time. And then the whole "your mom is a hoe."
Yeah.
The day before Mother's Day,
it was like, "Ooh, buddy, you really can't read the room any worse."
Like, what are we doing? Colby Covington, Leon Edwards 2 press conference,
and like it was clunky, it was fumbly, it like didn't sound good.
It was forced.
Yeah,
it was forced.
It was just bad. It was overall like I was gonna say that too. Like the idea was bad, the execution was equally bad, which makes it all bad.
You're right. It was both. Usually it's one or the other.
Right.
Usually it's one or the other.
Like at least Chael will make like a dog shit call out, but it's hilariously like 100% executed to a T.
I was gonna say he went to the Michael Chandler School of Bad Callouts, but I think it might be renamed. Like I just over the weekend, the Miami football team's weight room was renamed the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson Training Facility. I think the School of Bad Callouts has to be renamed the Joaquin Newman's Buckley School of Bad Callouts. Like literally all time bad. But we'll keep it pushing to the prelims. Thanks for those of you that tuned into this main card breakdown. Follow the channel, subscribe. We're on Twitter at Beefy Breakdown, on Instagram at Beefy Boys Breakdown. Engage with us in the comments. We love hearing what y'all have to say. There's been a few people commenting lately. Shout out to y'all. That we love going back and forth and hearing what y'all have to say. And yeah, we'll be back for you hardcores with the prelim breakdown.